What's up guys, Bearded Jeeper here, and today ZipTie is going to be sitting on his rear axle. Today I'm trying to get the leaf springs underneath this. You can see how tight it is here in my garage. So today I got this side, I got the shackle, so just a cheap rough country 1.5 inch shackle. I don't know if I'll need this or if I just want to go with the regular shackles, but I'm gonna play around with it a little bit and try to figure it out. So I was able to move the jack stands by myself. It was kind of sketchy, but I got them moved up front here. They were back here. I jacked up one side at a time, moved them so they're out of the way now. I got this rear leaf spring mounted as well. Now we're finally under the center so I can jack up and check out what my shackle angle looks like. So jacking it up, it's just barely off that jack stand there. We got pretty much complete 90 degrees, and you want a little bit of a shackle angle, so I'm gonna move it forward 1 bolt hole, and that should give me a better shackle angle. I don't know if I showed this the other day, but I took both hubs off. I started to clean up this side of the rear axle, and it started to rain, so I covered it up. I gotta come back through a little bit and clean up some more, but not too bad, and start to clean up the other side. Then I gotta figure out a way to get this into the garage. That's before, that's after. Nice and shiny. Not perfect. Have to clean it up a little bit more before I weld, but this is enough to clean it up before I get it underneath the Jeep. Alright, so with my father-in-law's help, I was able to get the Sterling underneath. I pretty much got it all centered up where I want it. It's about like 7.5 inches from the edge of the sleeve spring to this little flange here. And I think now I can get the perches where I want them, the U-bolts on, get everything all kind of lightly on there. So I was reading the directions. I know, shocking, on Rough Stuff's website, and they said to grind off the little nubs, the 3 little nubs. Those are for if you have a smaller axle, like a 9-inch axle. Those will fit on those. But I'd say that fitment's pretty good. And then make sure everything's good. The pinion angle's set, looking right at the transfer case. And then I can tack weld the leaf spring perches where I want them to be. Then I should be able to go ahead and pull this back out and fully weld the perches on, and we should have a rear axle underneath. I got everything situated here. I got the right amount of space. It ended up being like 7 2/16 between the spring perch here and this outer flange on both sides. So I think we're good there. I think I got the pinion angle set right. I just gotta double check. Want to make sure everything's good, make sure all my measurements are good. Then I can put some tacks in here, hold these spring perches in, disassemble everything, weld those up completely, paint them, and I think we'll be good. I got the axle mocked up here, but I need to get it at ride height to set the proper pinion angle, and I think I'm actually going to take these shackles off. These are like 1.5 inch rough country shackles, and I think I'm gonna put the stock ones back in. I have brand new bushings for them and everything. So that's the axle at ride height, and it'll obviously be up a little taller because 40-inch tires.
Now, I kept having this huge issue where the pinion would just flip on me, and I'd have to try to get creative and try to push the jack underneath one of these bolts to get the whole differential to spin while it was still clamped by the leaf spring bolts. And I said a few new curse words here, but finally I was able to flip it and turn it, so I was able to get the pinion sitting back down on the other jack and get the pinion angle squared away.
Man, what a pain in the ass that was. I had to remove what was left of this drive shaft so that way I could get a proper alignment of the pinion to the transfer case, make sure it's pointed in the right direction. And the bolts that are in here, 12 millimeter 12-point socket. Now from normal Jeep stuff, I had a 13 millimeter 12-point socket, but not a 12 millimeter 12-point socket. Now it's time to get the pinion angle squared away so that way I can finally tack in the spring perches and get this sitting on its own weight. All right, so after talking with Nate from Dirt Lifestyle, I was messaging him on Instagram, and we were talking about welding on the leaf spring perches, and I think I'm going to wait just a little bit. I have a 220 extension cord coming, so I'll be able to run 220 on my welder and really burn them in a lot better, just because right now those welds, they look like they're sitting on top of the axle, and it doesn't look like it. Not much penetration, and I really want to make sure they're burned in well, so I'm not going to be shearing them off and sending the pinion and drive shaft up into the floorboards or anything. I want to make sure it's done right and it's going to hold. I probably won't get the axle sitting on its full tires and everything this weekend, but maybe next weekend. That's the plan now. I think today I have these plates that they're the caliper mounting. Wow, I can't talk. These are the caliper mounting brackets. I'm gonna take these and try to press the studs out and get the rest of this chipped up backing plate off, because that is just nasty, crusty. I'm gonna grind them down a little bit, throw a coat of paint on them, and then let that, while that's drying, start working on rebuilding these hubs. I have brand new axle seal, new bearings, new races, whole 9 yards, so we'll get that all redone. I have to get the other half of the axle seal out. This was the half that kind of broke off and was stuck to the axle. There's still a little piece in there. And looks like my oil slinger isn't broken, so that's a good thing. But yeah, rebuild those, so we'll be able to put them on, and we'll go from there. Yeah, both hubs completely cleaned out. Got the seal, the bearings, the races, everything all cleaned out. When you're doing this, you don't want to lose this. This is the oil slinger. Goes in the back, top of the bearing. You don't want to lose it. Fitting up this truss, and looks like I'm gonna have to grind a little bit of this plug away. Just take a little bit off so it sits down over that. Well, I got her all wrapped up. I couldn't film a lot of the heating process because it took, or the heating and welding process because it took a while with this MAP gas. So I had to keep going pretty quick to keep the heat going. Some of the welds aren't the greatest, but I know they'll hold. Kept having issues with it heating up too much and wanting to undercut the truss a lot. But I think I got a decent job. It's gonna hold. It's not going anywhere. Okay, so we're getting ready to pound in the new races. These are the old ones. Chopped a little seam in them so I can use them to pound in, and then I'll be able to pull them out easy enough so they got a little bit of spring tension. We got the new races in the freezer chilling out. We're gonna heat up the hub, and then hopefully that'll expand a little, and the cold's gonna make the new races shrink a little, so it should slide down in a little bit easier. I'm such an idiot. I've been struggling for like an hour trying to get this caliper bracket on after repressing the studs in. Well, it helps if you press them in the right way. This is the wrong way. You don't want the studs coming out this way with the little nub thing. You want them the opposite way. And then it slides right on. You imagine that?
So I had to make some custom lug nuts here because they were just way too long. The caps kept bottoming out and I couldn't fully seat the wheel. So just slicing up the lug nuts and making some custom lug nuts.
She is gonna sit on her own weight for the first time in the rear. We're doing good.
Let's go.
Oh.
Because there's no way.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, we're good so far. We're on our own weight?
You are on your own weight.
Look, I got plenty of clearance here, bud. Well, I had already trimmed these anyway.
Oh, heck yeah.
I had already trimmed the side anyway, because, like, a lot of people do the cut and fold here, but that was all rotted out, so, like, that's why there's this hole here.
Hey, you got at least, like, 1.5 to 2 inches on the other side.
Yeah. That's looking good. I wish I could get back far enough to see all. So Project ZipTie is coming along. Maybe not as quick as I want, but we're getting some progress done. It's finally sitting on the rear axle. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. As always, guys, stay bearded, stay Jeepin'. I'm out.